Is it working? Okay. What is it even streaming right now? I need a editor. So it's just my face at the moment. Video capture. I need to add in the screen recording as well. Screen capture. Add that in. Okay. I think that's the whole screen, right? Should be good. At least for now. Oh, it's not even on the deck. Okay. Why is this so difficult? Cool. Try that. Cool. So cool. Alright. Sign into chat. Oh, do I have to be running it on a separate thing? I guess so. Huh. Oh, there are 2 people watching. Okay. It's anyone watching, sorry. I'm still this is the first time I've ever streamed something, so it's a lot of like you have to use this thing called an encoder, and I'm still getting used to how you like format everything on the actual stream. Can I actually set this up? Opening web browser. Okay, I have to do it through actual YouTube. Cool. All right. Let's see. Okay, so in today's stream, we are going to be making the YouTube banner for the channel. I think I'll have to, let's go to YouTube. I have some ideas as far as kind of like what I want to aim for, and I have some different screenshots of let's go to dashboard maybe. I think I need to actually go to my normal channel. Yeah, here we go. So, customize channel. And then, okay, cool. We have the window for the actual banner in here. And then I think it's under branding. Yeah, okay. So the first thing we need to do is actually open up something like a PDF editor and get it in this aspect ratio right here. I have some ideas as far as what the actual banner will look like, and I'll show them to you guys. But just real quick, anyone in the comments, how's the audio sound right now? It's supposed to be going through my phone. I don't know if it's picking it up because it's on my desk right now. But yeah, that was probably really loud when I just slammed it on the desk. Okay. All right. So I have this set up, and let's go to sample banners first. So This one's from Matt Diavella's channel. I feel kind of weird about putting myself in the channel banner. It feels a little bit narcissistic if you ask me, but I think it is kind of cool to have like the sideways walking profile type shot in there if I do need, like if I end up putting myself in the banner for the channel. Let's look at another one. Oh, we have someone in the chat. Let's see. Okay. All good. Okay, cool. So anyways, yeah. And then, I mean, we have this one as well. That one's kind of cool. I like how he's not actually facing the banner, and it's, I don't really know. It's not super interesting to me. This one is from like a big streamer called Ludwig, and I like the idea behind this one. This banner, he basically had someone edit all of that, like all of his subscribers were making this while on stream. This is my first time actually streaming, so I am not going to try and set that up, but I do like how just like random this one is, so I think that one's cool as well. This one's from Casey Neistat. I kind of like the aesthetic of the different colors, but yeah, it doesn't really, not super exciting or anything. So anyways, though, my idea is to actually put places that I've been and places that have actually been in videos and kind of stretch that across the canvas of what the banner would actually be taking up. And I can show you what that looks like, but one thing, let me pull up the comments in like a side window so I can just see it. Man, I need to set this up better. Okay, so we'll just put that off to the side. One thing that I think would be really cool is, so you have a shot like this, which, this is a shot of Morro Bay, which is in the US, it's in California. But one thing I used to do a lot, especially when I was messing around with designing t-shirts back in college, is I would use Adobe Illustrator and then I would turn just normal images into vector graphics. And it's really easy. It's AI automated, so it just kind of draws along the actual profiles of the pixels in the existing image. But I think it adds like a really cool kind of poster paint effect while also basing it on an actual image that I've taken or someplace that I've been while on the channel. So I think that's really cool. And I kind of want to go that direction, but maybe just having 4 or 5 different shots and kind of breaking them up at a slant across the banner. Let's see. I was gonna see what everyone in chat thought was kind of like the best as far as different options for what different images we want to go on the banner. And one other cool idea I had was maybe doing an update every month or so and switching in new places on the banner and having these little segmented areas showing where each one was, maybe with like the location at the bottom corner or something like that. But first thing we want to do is actually go into some sort of PDF editor. So this is Pixlr, which is basically like a web-based Photoshop. And I use this one just because I'm actually not sure if it's cheaper than Photoshop, but I used the free version for a long time and now I'm just used to it. So kind of is what it is. Let's see. I don't want to open one. I want to create a new aspect. I don't even remember what the actual size is supposed to be. So let's look. Well, that's not very good advice. John, we gotta, but the best part about this is that you're also having feedback. But I guess, yeah, you're right. whatever represents the channel. I think just the different places is just a really cool representation of the channels. So yeah, I guess you're right at the same time. What am I doing? It's so much harder talking about what you're doing while you're doing it the entire time as well. Okay. Oh, that's right. I was looking for aspect ratio. Okay, here it is. So 2048 by 1152. 2048. And I probably should have had this prepped beforehand as well, but whatever. Okay. And then we'll title this YouTube channel banner. Okay. So that's what the banner looks like. I feel like that's a bit large compared to all the banners that I usually see. But that's the ratio it's supposed to be. I think it differs depending on the different devices that you're using. That's why it's so much wider than it looks like on most channels. Okay. And is this the comments? Yeah, this is the comments. Okay. So I'll keep a different window just off to the side for comments. So actually see what's going on. Actually, this one's probably better. Okay. So I think at least for one of the different images, I want to put in a screenshot from when I first started doing kind of outdoor and like adventure type videos, which would be if I go to the SVGs that I have that I already made, it would be this shot in Oregon, which I think is really cool. And that's what is that? That's Mount Hood in Oregon around the Timberline Trail. So I think the easiest way to do this is just going to be to screenshot it, which I can use just using Mac OS. And capture that. Okay, cool. And now all we need to do is just throw this into our PDF editor, and then we can start to kind of get the foundation going for the banner. So just add this to current. And so now we have this screenshot. And how do I want to do this though? Do we want to divide it into like fours at a slant like this? So let me see, where is the line tool? Elements. I never use the element. There it is. Okay. So like one option would be to do different areas kind of segmented out like that. And I think that would be a cool look to have them all slanted and maybe do 4 different sections. But I don't know. Does anyone have any opinion in the comments? No, not yet. Okay. That's fine. I think I'm definitely going to throw in this one of Oregon first. So that will be our first image. And with the aspect ratio being 248, we'll need to divide these up. Okay. How about now? I think the audio should be back on. I don't know why, but yeah, I disconnected for a sec. Okay. Cool. Okay. So going back. Anyways, what I was saying is that so dividing these into quarters, and then I like having the slanted line on the banner. One thing is I wasn't sure how to like keep this diagonal consistent, but I think the easiest way will just be to copy this line element right here and then just paste it over on different areas. So I'm gonna place these kind of dividing lines, and it's gonna be not exact because I don't have like a tool to position it on. You can see right here it shows your position on the actual kind of canvas that you have in this program. I don't have a tool to snap it, but that's not a huge deal to me. Okay. It just has to be close enough. So let's put my cursor up here. So right now the cursor needs to be at 1024 to be where I want it. 1017, that's not quite right. And if you were wondering, this is also how I make thumbnails for the channel too. I use this program as well. So out of these quarters so far, oh man, it's so hard. I like this quarter and I like this quarter. I want to put both. I love this image, so I really want to use both, but that would just mess up the theme. Okay. Command C, Command V. No. And drag this one over as well. And then we just have to figure out our kind of ley line on this one, and then we'll be all set. So, what is it? It should be 1548, right? Okay, 1548. That's close enough. Cool. So we have these diagonal slants kind of at even intervals. Even though this last shot over here is a lot wider. So I may have messed the math up on that. I guess the tops are all equal. Maybe I should keep this one straight and then... Yeah, because this one's just way too wide in comparison. So what if I do a straight line here and then reflect this one so that it's... Might as well. See how it looks. So let's go to... aspect free. How do I flip this though? I could also just rotate it 180 degrees and that would also mirror it. Oh, here we go. Or not. Maybe it doesn't do that. Let's see. Okay. Back to this. Yeah, that just looks off. I don't like how it's so much shorter on one side. I guess that makes sense though, because I am dividing it like that. I just don't know how to make it even on this side. let's try doing a straight line. Okay. And then we can just move this one, and it's centered on the image, so that's easy enough. I don't know if I like that either, though, because that looks off. Yeah. See, that's more of like a 50-50 split, but I just would have to eyeball that. I'm not quite sure how to like make that an even. I'd have to do some geometry. I don't really want to do that. I think we'll just eyeball it for now because, yeah, I can't be bothered. I guess one other way would be to just split down the middle and then look for how that looks as well. So what you can do, which I used to do this back in the day a lot when I used to do AutoCAD stuff, is kind of just drawing a line just for reference and then kind of eyeballing off of that as well. So this one needs to be at 516x, or as close as I can get it. That's fine. And we just want it to intersect this diagonal somewhere where it's close to the middle, which is marked out by this little drag handle on our kind of like vertical guideline. So right there is about good, which that works for me. And then I can do the same thing, just Command C, Command V, copy this one over here. Don't drag that. And then we can line that one up as well. And then this last one is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So I think I just need to put it right at the top of here. Yeah, that's pretty close. Whatever. I don't even care. And then get it kind of smack dab in the middle here. And that should be pretty even as far as our little panel sections go. It's not perfect, but I also just don't care that much that it's perfect, so that's fine. Okay. So the next thing to decide is which segment of these four is the most interesting to keep for the banner. Let's see. Cool. I'm thinking it's definitely either over here on the right side or the left side. I could push this little bit over to the side like this, and I think it would be cool to keep the mountain, but if we push it too far, then we also will lose our like little green area in the background over here, which would be unfortunate. But that looks pretty good. So I think we'll go with this being on the left quadrant right here, and then I'll have to clip the rest of this out using a mask, which I can show you guys how to do in just a sec too. This is really annoying me though. I want to have the comments pulled off to the side so I can actually see what you guys are saying. I think, here we go. Okay. Cool, so I'll leave this one up. Which I wish there was like a drop down menu or something to keep that up and over. But I'll just have to toggle in between them. So, audio is still coming through all right? I think I need to just put this right next to the actual window as well. Okay. Sweet. So anyways, going back to actually clipping this out, so what I want to do is we have our guideline right here. The first thing I want is to actually take the masking tool, and then usually what I'll do is I'll use like a shape tool at first just because it's easier, and we'll get kind of close and just remove all of that. So then we have just this kind of area right here. Next thing we want to do is get ourselves positioned kind of decently well. Oh man, I didn't quite get the top edge of that, but that's okay. You can see there's like a little bit where it's not quite covered. Okay. So the next thing we would need to do is actually draw a mask, which is going to be kind of a pain as well. You can also do a line, and if I get this really close, that will just make it kind of easier as far as clipping out on this image. So yeah, if you use the line mask, that's a good way to draw a border on like wherever you're trying to use the feature as well. The one problem is it's really kind of unruly, especially when it's like this fine detail. Let me try and up the actual. So if I go just right of it and then there, cool. So now we're kind of cutting right across that edge, and then after that you probably would want to go in with just the brush tool or the draw tool and kind of just slowly carve out the rest of that. And this makes making thumbnails sometimes pretty tedious, to be honest. If you get like really into kind of PDF formatting and stuff like that, it can take forever. But it's also pretty enjoyable. A lot of the times you can just put on like a podcast or something while you're doing this. And it's kind of like a fun task that you can do in the background without thinking to, like, you can do it kind of on like half autopilot, because a lot of this is just kind of like pretty repetitive and then not too complex either. To be honest, I find making thumbnails one of my favorite parts about YouTube. I find it pretty enjoyable. Cool, okay. So, we got other people going on. Bro, Brett, there is no way you have me on your hostile TV right now. That is cooked. I do not need to be on a hostile TV. Anyways, though, yeah, so that's the first kind of segment I was thinking about. I think that looks pretty good. So I think next, let's pull up some other images that I have kind of squared away right now. So let's see. I think I'll do one more background panel from the States, and then we'll make the next two Australia. Let's see, which one do I like the most out of these? I really like this one. I actually made this as the back of a t-shirt once, a couple years back. And this is based on a real image as well. This is from Big Sur in California, which, if you've taken the drive up to Port Douglas before, driving down Big Sur really reminds me of that drive up to Port Douglas from Cairns as well. Very similar kind of roads and stuff like that, where it's super curvy and like right on the side of a cliff as well. But yeah, of course, Big Sur is a lot more, it's a lot drier, definitely not tropical or anything like that, but okay. So let's drag this one in. Okay. I don't know why it's struggling so hard. Okay. Where is the actual image that I just dragged in? I'm trying to delete this one. And then drag it back in. Add to current. And then that should load in. Something crashing. Okay, there we go. So it's just taking a while to load. I'm doing this on my MacBook, so between the MacBook processing power and then on top of it just the Wi-Fi situation at my house as well, things might get a little bit slow at times, but it's pretty unavoidable. I feel like Wi-Fi in cans in general I've encountered so far has been pretty bad, but I don't know if that's just kind of my situation. Where is this? I don't see this image anywhere. Oh, it's blown way up. Okay. For whatever reason, it's not showing up. So I think somehow it's getting corrupted when I'm importing it, because there's no other way that this would react like this. I don't think. So one easy way around that as well is just going back in over here. Is the audio still going? I think so. Okay. Opening this up and then just using the actual desktop screenshot function. Capturing that, and then we can just drag and drop this in instead. So there we go. Don't know why it wasn't working before, but that's fine. So what is the best shot on this one? I think the middle is definitely the best, so we'll try and shoot for it being on the middle panel as well. One nice thing about when you're formatting stuff for thumbnails in a program like this or Photoshop is you can drag one that you've already kind of put a lot of effort into masking out, and then that will just instantly clip over, so you don't have to do any of the work of masking out this side, which is something I always use. We're going to draw our kind of ley lines up over this so we can just see it. So I think that's really cool how that ties in like that. Like that. That's pretty convenient. But I want to drag this over a little bit because I want to get this bit of the shot more so in there. So how does that look? It's not quite as clean with the mountain edges kind of lining up, but I could still make that work as well if I want to go this route of having them line up by just making this shot bigger. I don't know if I like that though. Which one is it? Okay, so this one is, okay. Drag this one over. So if I drag this up to the top, get it centered right around this little cove thing that we have right here, and then we can take a look at how that ties in. That ties in really well as far as just having this horizon line. I think that looks cool, so we'll keep this as the second segment. Colin asks why I'm doing this now. I had just set this up for the stream to happen like on the community post channel thing for 2 p.m. So that's kind of just how it happened. It is nice outside right now. One thing right now about weather in Cairns is it's gotten like actually kind of cold when it's in the morning or at night. Like I think I might need to get a space heater. Okay. So we're gonna just do the same thing again. We're gonna use that rectangle mask tool. Try and get it as close as I can to this line. Oh, that's still the line tool. Okay. So get it close as I can up to here. Just drag and drop this. Boom. And then, yeah, rinse and repeat. We'll just go through this. And just kind of edge out this line right here. And I'll make these border lines bigger as well. So the little, if I do kind of overextend on one side, it shouldn't be too big of a deal because the actual thickness of this line is going to be a little bit bigger in the end. So I'm not too worried about it looking a little bit fuzzy on the corners because this one is just the guideline, and then once we actually have it all down, I'll put in like a wider border line. So one thing is for this banner, probably should have some sort of text in there as well. I don't know, like maybe some sort of channel slogan or something like that. I was thinking of maybe just doing something. One kind of quote I like is from a book called Altered Carbon, and it's one thing the main character always says is just get to the next screen, which is kind of like similar to like just keep swimming or like just keep going kind of thing. I think that would be a cool slogan to put on the banner. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe there's one that's more fitting. Let me know in the comments. But that's what I was leaning towards at the moment. Okay. Cool. So I think that should be good. And then I'll just put the thicker border line over that as well. Now we need to move on to the two other panels for places from Australia. So I'm going to show all of the ones that I have. I think there's only maybe like 4 or 5 to choose from, but if anyone thinks that there's one that kind of stands out, let it be known in the comments, or else I'll just choose one that I like the most. But so let's go to samples, or actually backgrounds. So this one is actually, this one's not Australia. This is Big Sur again, but at the beginning. Probably won't use that one since we just used the other Big Sur one. Here is one from the 5K video. I really like this side, so I think that would fit well on the other end of the border, especially with the boat and stuff. And I've made that into a vector file as well, so I can show you what that one looks like. So over on this side, I don't want to have me on the crutches in the actual banner, but I think over off to this corner, it would be really cool to have that maybe be the right edge. And then here's the other two already. And then I have another one that I made in advance from when I went out on the reef. This is like, I think this is the Mulgrave River. I don't remember exactly. Whatever river's right next to Derail. So I think this one is cool too, but maybe pull something from a different image as well. So I like Banana Says to do mountain theme pictures. I just don't know if I have enough mountain theme ones to keep it exciting. At least not here in Australia. Because I haven't really been up to them, even like the mountains for the Great Dividing Range up here either. This is Pismo Beach. This is back in California as well. Let's see. It's never cold in Cairns. I get cold so easily. That's why I love it here. That's why I love the weather. Alright. I'm gonna try and throw this river one in the middle and see how it looks. I don't know if it will actually turn out looking good, but it's worth a shot just to see kind of how it turns out. Oh, I forgot. There's also the one of Port Douglas. That view from the lighthouse. I have another shot of that I think looks really good as well. Which I don't know if I've yeah, I did download it, okay. So I think this one looks really cool too. I find this this viewpoint really funny because this is what they always use to advertise Cairns. Even though it's at least an hour drive north in Port Douglas, but it's on all the online websites and stuff. This exact viewpoint. Okay. Close that out. Okay. So back in here, let's go to where the screenshots are at. Which one do I drag in first? I'll try and drag this one in first. Okay, that's current. Man, I just love the way these vector formats look after they go over an image. It looks so cool. And which panel would look the most interesting on this one? I can shrink it down to... Definitely, I like this one with the tree, maybe off to the side a little bit more, like this. That would be kind of cool. Or maybe with this tree, kind of centered in this angle. I do kind of like this one. Like, kind of like this. I don't know what it... You know, as far as Aussie distances go, you have to drive pretty far in the US as well. I used to drive, for my corporate job before I moved here, I was driving an hour and 20 minutes each way. So, I don't know, but I still wouldn't consider that, I guess that's true though, because I would still call that San Diego, even though I was driving an hour away. But Cairns doesn't feel quite big enough to like refer to it as that's Cairns, but I guess it is the closest place with like an airport and a hospital as well, so I probably need to do... I can actually just drag this one underneath this shot, or underneath the Big Sur shot, so that becomes easier to manage. And then go to the masking tool again. We'll use the shape mask. We'll drag over to this corner. Oh, that's the plus though. Don't need to add to it. I need to remove from it. I do kind of like how this corner looks though over here anyways. Kind of undisturbed. But I do like that this side has like the boat. So I'll keep this side for now. Oh what did I just do? I don't even know what just happened. What? That's weird. I'll just drag it back in there. currents. Didn't fix the aspect ratio though. No, it is fixed. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I like this angle right here. I think that's good for the third panel. At least for now. I mean, we can go back in and change it. It's not super hard to do a different one. But this one needs to get dragged down at the bottom, so it's just easier to see. Cool. I definitely am not. It's hard to pick up on sarcasm through a chat, though. But I definitely say, as someone, I don't know if that's just a US thing, but picking up on Aussie sarcasm is definitely something that sometimes still lays flat. Like sometimes I just don't like pick up on it anyways, which is definitely just like a learning curve thing. Okay. Is that covering all the way up to the top? It's a little bit, like there's a small edge up there that's gonna drive me crazy if I don't fix it. So we'll enlarge that just a little bit there, yeah. Does that. Cool. And then we'll just go back in with the brush tool again. I don't know if there's a faster way to do it on this program. I wish there was an easier way to line things up cleanly. But sometimes using that little line tool with the cutout feature is also kind of unwieldy too. The one thing that bugs me is zooming out, it like misdirects the placement of it, so gets kind of frustrating. I almost don't want to. My idea was to maybe do something like the Matt Diavella banner, where like he's walking kind of at a profile angle in the channel banner, but I almost kind of want to keep it just plain as is, and then maybe put some like text on the top or the bottom, because I like how this looks. It's very aesthetic at the moment. Oh, this is the most annoying part. Fucking edge. This right there. Cool. So then we need to just put in one more panel and it should be good. I agree with Jenny. I think sarcasm needs to be audible or else I just don't get it half the time. Brett, are you still in the chat? Okay. So I think between, at least for now, we'll keep that one here, and then we just have to choose the last panel on the right side, which at the moment is either going to be this kind of Port Douglas shot, or let's go to, where's the banner one? Okay, here we go. So it's either between the Port Douglas one, or it's between the 5K one and not the part with me on the crutches, but this corner off to the right side. Because I like both of those a lot. But which one looks better from this kind of angle is the real question, I guess. Let me show the Port Douglas one again. See, the Port Douglas one, though, we could slide over to this side and capture this part, and that does look really good as well. Kind of depends, though. Do we have any opinions in the chat? Let me see. Nothing at the moment. Speak up or forever hold your peace. I'm kind of leaning towards the one with the boat in the corner. Because this one looks really good. I can close this one out, too. But I do just like how the boat and like the edge of the mountain with the port ties in over on this corner. I think that looks really cool for Fitzroy. I'll shoot for the Fitzroy run for now. Let's give that a go. Not the whole window. I think so. Include a couple of palm trees. I think both of them have palm trees. I don't want to include the part with me on the crutches, but I will probably throw in like another snip with me over the top going across the different segments. But we'll see how it looks though, because I feel like it might look a little strange, especially since I would be snipping in basically an image of me that's like actual photo crisp versus these vector or AI vectored images, which will look kind of weird because it'll be like an actual photo in comparison to this kind of more paint style background. But it might look cool, so it's definitely worth giving a shot. Let me close this out. So I think it's this one. Yeah, okay. Oh no, you're right. There isn't any palm trees in that corner. So rough shot, that's kind of what it looks like. I don't know if I actually like that much though. Let's see. Let's try and drag it around a bit and see where it fits in. Yeah, I think having the most water and stuff in the background, having the most water in the background would probably fit the best. I don't like how that ties in very much though, I don't think. Put myself on crutches. The Port Douglas one does look generic, but I think it's generic because it is a good shot. I think it is a very scenic view. So I don't hold it against it. Yeah, I don't like that. Moved that on accident. I really don't want to put myself in crutches on the corner like that. Man, that looks goofy. I do kind of like just that as well. I feel like the problem is all the rest of them have like a bit of foreground. And then if I do this boat one, there's just the bush, which doesn't quite tie in well with the rest of them. So I will try and throw in the Port Douglas one just to see how it looks, but I'm not married to that one either. So that does kind of fit better with the general aesthetic. It's just a little bit more distance, so it fits better with how wide out all the rest of them are as well. Yeah. Okay. So if I... Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. So I dragged this one. That would be what I think is like the most dynamic and interesting part of this shot. So I'm gonna try and see what that looks like. I messed up the order. There we go. I still messed it up. That one needs to be at the top. Okay. I do like that. Come up the hill. What do you mean, like next to Edge Hill? I have been up there. I think I do have a couple shots. I would have to do some digging around through the libraries I have saved for videos, but I could probably get one of Edge Hill as well. But I do like this shot. I think that looks cool. One thing also that you need to remember with these banners is that pretty much this to this area is like what actually shows up on most YouTube browsers. And then the wider angle I think only shows up on smartphones or something like that. It's different for like depending on what you're using. I mean, at least at the moment, I'm pretty happy with how that background looks, though. I think we can adjust it, maybe, if anyone has a strong opinion on something to change. But I kind of want to mess around with putting maybe text. Also adding in thicker border lines over these to see how that looks. And then I'll show you what I was talking about with like what I was saying about having like an actual shot of me in there as well, even though I don't know if I like that as much either. Mariba, Atherton, okay, so like closer to Tablelands then. 2 would be better. 2 of what? Huh. Oh, you mean 2 segments instead of 4. Is that, maybe. It's not as interesting to look at, though. Okay. So, I did do some screenshots of different images for, like, me being on the actual banner itself as well. So, let's take a look at those. So I have some hiking ones that I think look kind of cool. I love this one just because I'm... The story behind this one is I was in a rush, and this is from a video I did a while ago as well. And I was in a rush partially because I just wanted it. I'd been out in the boons for 3 days by myself filming this video, backpacking, but also there was a fire going on right next to the mountain that I was hiking around. So I kind of needed to get out of there, so I was actually running with my hiking backpack, at least on the downhill parts, which honestly isn't as hard as you would think. It was actually pretty fun, but yeah, that would be kind of cool if you put that kind of in the center. Probably a bit goofy, but I kind of like that aesthetic for the channel, to be honest. I mean, if you've seen like what the channel profile picture looks like, I think it's a pretty fun... I like not being too serious on the actual kind of aesthetic of the channel and stuff, so... Yeah, up to the Tablelands and stuff, I would definitely want to go as well. I haven't had the time really to actually put together a plan, because if I'm gonna go up there, I want to figure out like exactly what... It's really hard to make video concepts that are more interesting, and so that's why I have to put a lot of planning into what actually I would want to make out there as well. Maybe that's just me though. I know a lot of travel kind of channels and vloggers like to make just like kind of baseline exploring an area, but at least for me, those aren't the kind of videos that I enjoy watching so much. I like kind of watching more challenges or like people actually kind of struggling with something. That's where I get more inspiration from YouTube videos as well. So that's one of the reasons why I don't always upload just like I could go visit a bunch of different places in Cairns, but I try to avoid just doing kind of like, oh, this is Port Douglas, this is, oh, isn't it so great? Because I don't, sometimes it just feels kind of hard to relate to that kind of content as well, at least for me. So okay, anyways, cutting out the actual image of this, the easiest way to do this is there's an auto tool on this software. So a lot of the times though, it does kind of mess it up. Like, I don't even know what happened with that one just now. Did it just completely wipe the entire thing? Sometimes it doesn't detect the actual image and it'll just delete everything. I think it just keeps deleting everything, which is quite unfortunate because that makes it so much easier when it picks it up. Let me try and shrink it all the way down. Maybe it's keeping, I don't know what aspect of this JPEG it's actually keeping though. No, it's just deleting the whole thing. That's useless. Okay. So we'll have to actually cut this out on its own. So the easiest way is just going to be kind of box it out. Okay. And now for the fun part where you have to go over all of the outlines of the actual image, which takes forever. Okay. Let's go. The brush. Okay. I'm just gonna rough outline this for now and just see how that even looks, because it's kind of hard to get a good grasp on it until you actually have it at least kind of trimmed in a bit. And then if that looks kind of stupid when it gets blown up, then we'll try something else. But I'm not sure if I even want to have myself on the foreground of this banner. I might just keep the background as is and then put some text over it. But I don't know. I need to check the chat and see if you guys have any opinions, but let's see. Okay. Yeah, I have seen the pyramid before. I've wanted to do that one for a while as well. I think they do, I don't know if it's a 10K or a 5K, but my friend Val was telling me that they do some sort of race on that mountain every year as well, which I think would be really cool. Hopefully my knee gets in condition enough to go up it soon, because I would really want to do that. So maybe try and center it like that. I almost feel like this needs to get... it needs some work because it's so blown out. I do kind of like that though, honestly. It looks kind of cool. What is this? Change the... Let's go to this one. Okay. I always listen to this kind of music when I'm just making thumbnails and stuff. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so that's what that looks like. I need to trim it out more, but let me look at the other ones that I have as well. I kind of do like that one though. It's not the worst. What other ones do I have? It could be a front-facing one like this, just hiking, which would be interesting. I would just cut it out like I did that other one too. Or you could go with the side angle, which I kind of like that one as well. But yeah, I'm not quite sure on which one. The one thing is also just trying to see which one has like the most, has at least me in the most focus, because it makes a big difference when you're trying to cut out a subject and just paste it on top for any sort of image editing. I think this one's by far the worst because I'm the furthest back. This one and this one are definitely a little bit more in focus. I think this one is honestly the most in focus. But I just like how I'm actually straight up running in this shot. I think that's so funny. Annual race, but later in the year, up and back in an hour and a half. Do you know what the distance is? Make yourself run past the tree. Which tree? Oh, you mean this one over here? Are you talking about this image or try and paste in a different one? Oh, I see. You're just talking about actually maybe putting it more on the ground. I see. That makes sense. And it's pretty centered too. I think we might just go with this one. I've already cut it out, and that's half the battle anyways. So I'll probably need to make that a little bit bigger. And then this is where it gets super boring, and I have to go in finer detail on, especially when it's on like an actual subject I have to cut out. And I have to go around and just zoom in so close. And then once you get like a good outline around your subject, it's actually pretty easy because you can go in with a bigger brush tool. And then it's easier to just kind of broad stroke. It's easier to do broad strokes around the actual focus of whatever you're trying to cut out, but yeah. It is nice though that it's like, it's not like super in focus on like a face or something, because trying to, especially when you're trying to do a mask around hair, that gets really annoying as well. Like if you're doing like a close-up focus shot of someone's face. Okay. Now I'll save that for later. I'll just get the limits or the borders for now. I can't even tell where this starts. And that's the annoying thing too. Sometimes it's just really hard to tell where the actual subject is and where the background is at sometimes. And a good way to like make it stand out is you can adjust the transparency, or what I could do as well is just click the actual visibility of these, and then it's really clear what the actual subject is too. But yeah, sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It kind of depends on how much it blends in. But for this one, it's getting kind of annoying, so I'll do that. Go smaller too. Yeah, I'll play around with the actual size of it after I finish cutting this out. I make it so big because it's just easier to actually outline this focused subject as well. But yeah, I've always loved kind of making stuff like this. It's always been pretty fun. Some people that make YouTube videos absolutely hate the process behind doing this sort of like graphic design, thumbnail branding kind of stuff. I've always enjoyed doing this kind of stuff. That's why I started out, or when I started out making videos, I was kind of going down the route of trying to do almost like a t-shirt graphic design focus at first, just because I do like doing that a lot. But there's not a lot of interest, or you have to be really good in order for people to get a decent amount of interest when you're making stuff throughout this kind of format, because it's pretty hard to like make it interesting throughout the whole time as well. But I do think it is a really cool idea for a stream, especially if you update the banner incrementally. I don't know if every month is maybe like a good idea, but if you were to update the banner, I don't know, every 3 months or something like that, with new places or like different places you've been for the channel videos, I think that would look kind of cool. That'd be a fun way to like also just like interact with all of you as well. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go super in depth. Sometimes I get really crazy and I zoom in at like here you can see that the brush width or whatever is 19. Sometimes I'll go all the way down to 4. But yeah, that's I'm not gonna go that crazy on this one. We'll just it's an interesting area to cut out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna go super in detail on this one. Just enough that it wouldn't be noticeable. Just curious for any of you that are in far north Queensland, what's kind of the limit as far as like how far south you go before there's a noticeable drop off in temp? And also how far north, if you go up to, is it Cape Tribulation? That's the peak at the top of above Cairns. I think it's Cape Tribulation, but or maybe it's Cape York, I'm not sure. It might be Cape York. But how hot does it get up there? Or even another, like I think Darwin is significantly hotter than Cairns as well, isn't it? Let's see. Save yourself as a layer so you can work on it separately. So I don't understand exactly what that means, but just don't work on it on the stream and then do that off screen. Is that what you're trying to say? Because I could do that. I don't mind maybe just shortcutting it for now to kind of speed things up. But it is almost done as well at this point. I just need to cut this bit out. That should be good. I don't really need to remove the rest in that background. And then I'll show you what I mean when I say that, like, you just make it bigger on the brush and then it goes away pretty fast as well once you have the outline. I do think if I was using Photoshop, the automatic AI tool for cutting out would probably be a little bit better as well. So I might eventually upgrade to Photoshop. I do pay for this one too, but it's pretty cheap. It's like $7 a month, so it's not a lot. Okay, so I'll make this like 60. And it'll be pretty easy to clean up the rest. So kind of have to zoom in a little bit on this background. Okay, get this little area over here. Cool. Sweet, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so Darwin isn't really that much hotter. Okay, so we'll unfreeze these ones. And one thing with this image too that is a bit of a problem. Man, after sitting a while, my knee just starts flipping out. One thing about this image is definitely that it's quite dark. So one thing we can do is, if I can find which one it is. Okay, it's this one right here. So if I go to adjustments and just play with the brightness and the contrast a bit and see how that looks, it is quite underexposed, the original screenshot, so it does look kind of blown out, but yeah, if we play with this a little bit, it does need to be quite a bit brighter too. I don't know why. Here, let me cancel that for a sec. Let me zoom in full screen, go to adjustments, brightness and contrast, play with, maybe go like 20 up on brightness and 10 on contrast, and we'll stick with that for now. And then probably saturation as well will help a bit. It does probably need to be a little bit brighter too, to be honest. Yeah. And then we can fix that with the saturation. Will make it look a little bit less weird. Yeah, a little bit, but it's very red. So try and cool that down just a little bit. Turn myself into a goddamn alien, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, definitely maybe skew a little bit more towards the blue tones. We can try and do this though. But that'll only mess with the blue in that color range. Whoops. Yeah, I need to go and like, there's sometimes like you can use like a auto sharpening tool as well. Highlights and shadows might help make that look a little bit less blown out. Let's see, filters. So find edges sometimes can help. Dehaze, sharpen. Okay, let's try sharpening. That does help a little bit. So we'll try and sharpen it just a little bit. Yeah, okay. I'm not mad about that. Still looks a little bit off. Okay, no, I use Photoshop and rather risk losing everything. You can work on just that layer. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that the same as just freezing out those backgrounds though? Or was that what you were talking about when I actually just hit like the kind of like the blocking it out? Because once it's like that, it doesn't really mess with it. I'm a big user of Command Z as well. Anytime I mess something up, I just Command Z it. I've always got my hand positioned on Command Z. I think I just need to kind of... It's really the face that looks weird. I think maybe if I just do a little bit of brush touch up on it. Which one is this though? That's draw. So color, dodge, burn, disperse. I don't know though. There's not really much you can do on that. I think one other thing though too is we were talking about shrinking this image down. So if I do just shrink this down a bit, yeah, that becomes a lot less noticeable as well. It does look kind of funny though, because I'm running. It's like something out of like a movie. I'm running against the background of this like painting thing. Ah man, I kind of want to turn this into like more of the poster thing too. Fake the muddy Mulgrave? Not a chance. That's so much effort. Trying to turn that blue. Ugh. It's not even worth it. There's one other thing I can try, which is, at least on this shot, I can go and there's the posterize feature, which is very similar to the vector art, but it's based on pixels, so it doesn't look as good. That makes it fit a bit better, I think, than if it's just like... I think the graininess actually kind of helps, because it looks weird when it's like photo perfect. Though I do need to up the brightness, because it's just so dark. Nah, it's too dark. I'm gonna blow this image out though if I do it like this. Whatever. Details, no. AI super sharp. I've never tried that. Only one way to find out what that does. One C, I have no idea what that means. Whatever it's doing, it's taking a while to actually process, so that'll be interesting. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I don't really know it. A lot of the times when I lost everything though, it was almost like it wasn't loading into the actual software properly. So I don't really know what that was, to be honest. I'm gonna cancel. That's taking way too long to load. Okay. Let's try and mess with the brightness one more time. That is way too bright. I wish I could zoom out while I'm adjusting it though. It's so annoying that it doesn't let me do that. Try the auto pop. Oh, that does help. But now I just look... I look alien. I'm way too red. This is why I hate putting myself in photos all the time, because then you just start thinking about it too much. Let's try and tint it blue. That might make it a little less weird. You know, I'm good with that, I think. No, that looks flippin' strange. If I pump the saturation and then go hued a little bit towards blue. Just makes me look kind of yellow though. Whatever. Alright, later Colin. Thanks for hopping on the stream. I think, you know, I'm pretty happy with how this looks, to be honest. I think we'll call it here, and I might throw some text on in a different software editor, or I mean, not software, image editor. I might use Canva, which is good for, I like the text formats in that one better than this software. So I'll probably export this image, and then I might throw just some basic channel information on the banner itself. But I think that's pretty much a wrap, at least for me. I think it's good enough. I'll do some little tweaks, but that's kind of the majority of what I wanted to do with the banner, or at least the idea I had behind it. So thanks for everyone that watched the stream, and whoever is still watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to call it here.